for you guys. She actually did an incredible Mentorship Monday training
Mira,
for the field today. And if you did not catch that, go back and at least look at the slide deck that she put up. I actually am going to go back through it because I didn't want to like rush through my answers. So I'm going to go back through, write down all my answers, and I'm super excited to do that. And I really encourage you to take some time and do that at some point in the next couple of days to really set your eyes on a goal for 2026. Maybe it's a new rank. Maybe it's getting back to your lifetime rank. Maybe it's an income goal you've got set for your family to, you know, unlock something else for your family. So I just want to have Brittany kind of elaborate. I feel like she's incredible at setting a vision and all of that and that entails. And so we are having the vision event on Saturday. If you cannot make it to a local, a local place, a satellite place, make sure you get on the Zoom at least. So I'm going to turn it over to her and let her share.
Well, thank you. And I'm so excited for this, you guys. I'm so excited for 2026. But, it all starts with what you set your intentions right now, what you plan for right now, what you expect in your life right now. And everything leads to the January event. So I would, if there's any way possible, watch it live. It is so much more impactful when you watch it live. And I know a lot of people are like, well, I gotta work, I'm gonna catch the replay. If there is any opportunity for you to catch as much as possible live, it really does make a difference. And I know oftentimes we have great intentions of, I'm going to catch the replay. I've got a lot going on Saturday. Just going to catch the replay. And then you start the replay and then you get a notification on your phone and you click it and then you forget to go back and you do not watch it. But there's something about accountability that is so special. And not only with your health, but with your business, just having that accountability of, hey, everyone in the company right now that is wanting to go to the next level is watching this. That's what they're all doing. So if you're ever curious, like, what is your next step? Success leaves clues. And everybody who is wanting to level up is going to be on that call Saturday. So if you are out grocery shopping, pop an earbud in, have it, in your shopping cart. If you're, driving, obviously watch the road, but you could have your earbud in. I know I was on a family vacation on the one we did this summer, and my family was ready to go eat lunch and all the things. It ran right into lunch, but I'm like, you know what? I'm going into this Mexican restaurant with this in my ear. I'm gonna have my phone sitting there, and they know this is important for me. I've got to be on here and I've got to watch it. And it was some of the best training I've ever heard. And we did an EVP call today, and Aspen shared that the vision call we did last January, a lot of people said that that event set them up for so much success in 2025, and they got more from that than even a conference. Because I will say, conference is fantastic. It is an energy that you can feel. And so I would say if there's anything you can do for your business right now, the top three things are making sure you're on that vision call live, making a vision board or some sort of vision splat or some sort of list right now of what you want to see happen in your life, goal setting, creating, reflecting on how 2025 went and how you want 2026 to be different. So setting some intentions and goals. And then number three, getting to conference. Conference is so valuable. I will say for a lot of people, it's a lot of information. A lot of it is the feeling that you have when you leave. It's not always the nuggets you learned. Sure, you are going to learn a lot of nuggets if you're new and you've never been to a Bravenly conference. I encourage you to be there. I know you may think, okay, well, Brittany, it's like a month away. Exactly. It's a month away. You could literally set your business up in your first month and have skyrocket 2026. If you're new, you are so lucky that we have a national conference a month from now. I feel so bad for the people who are going to join February 20th because I'm like, that really is bad for you because we just came out of the best event of the year. So conference is the best event of the year. You feel 10 foot tall and bulletproof when you leave, but the vision call helps you dream big for yourself and helps you with some nuggets and training and strategy of what to do. So I just love both of the events. They're very different. Every event that I go to at Bravenly, they're very different and they're all absolutely incredible. And we always say, I don't think it could get any better. So I encourage you guys, those are the three things. But I'm going to talk about the one thing because obviously Vision Call and conference are a no-brainer to me, but I can't force you to go to those things and show up for those things. But one thing I would encourage all of you to do, in addition to those two things, is to set intentions right now. And a lot of it goes back to what I said at the beginning of the call of accountability. When we're all on that call together, we're all like chatting with each other. Oh my gosh, that was so good. This is amazing. Da, 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 da. That can be the same thing in your business, is having accountability. Amelia is one of my accountability partners. We talk all the time about what are you doing? What are you doing? I don't know if I could do that. Well, yes, you can. And here's why, and so we chat a lot about that, and it does make a difference in your business. When you see people that are where you want to go or you want to go together, you want to, raise up together, it makes a difference when you have that open dialogue, those communications. Everybody has ups and downs in business. It's normal. Everybody has ups and downs in life, right? I don't think anyone here has been like, I've been on a straight up trajectory my entire life since I was born. No, okay, that's not real. Everyone has ups and downs, but when you have accountability partners, people that you can go to lift each other up, it is very helpful. Here's one thing I will, like, this may be a little bit discouraging. So if you've never heard this, it is what it is. Sometimes accountability can become toxic. I want to say that too, because I want this to be a little like a little bomb out there that you know that you can avoid. Because if you don't know about it, you may not even know that you can avoid it. But sometimes you start off all great and wonderful, and you're like, I found Susie Q. She's a sideline leader, or she's a person on the team. We locked arms. Everything's great and wonderful. We're going to be accountability partners. We're going to the top together. And then February hits and you aren't at the top. And you're like, well, I'm not at the top. Are you at the top? No, we're neither one of us at the top. Well, that's a problem. And then in March comes around and you're not at the top. And then you start complaining together. Okay? Well, if only this, and if only she, and if only they, and if only da da da. And instead of you being honest and open and looking in the mirror and saying, who can absolutely change my life? That person in the mirror. That's it. Blaming, pointing, judging, shaming, guilting, all of these things are not going to help you go to the next level. And sometimes these accountability people, sometimes that's where it happens. So I just want you to know that going into 2026, accountability partners can be the best thing for your business. They can also be the absolute worst thing in business. I can tell you from experience in my first company, I came in like a wrecking ball. Like I did really well in my first company. And I got locked arms with some sideline leaders, and we all wanted to go to the top together. And it all started out wonderful. There was this, we were the trio, and we had this chat, and it was so beautiful. And we were all going to the top, and everything was beautiful, rainbows and butterflies, until it wasn't. And then the whisper started, okay? And I will tell you, there is nothing that can tear apart your business faster than some people that you thought were accountability partners when it becomes toxic and they start venting, complaining, and then you start venting and complaining, and then they start, and then it becomes this toxic vortex. Okay. So I just want you to be mindful of that too as we start into this new year, and accountability should hold you accountable. Okay. It's not a validation partner. Okay. It's not a validation partner. I don't want you to lock arms with someone and say, what's your goal, Susie Q? And they say, my goal is vice president. And then February comes around and says, hey, how are you going towards vice president? Well, I'm not there yet. You shouldn't validate them and say, I know, doesn't that suck? Everyone else is going VP, not us. What's the problem? There's something wrong with our upline. There's something wrong with the company. There's something wrong with the products. Okay, that is not the kind of accountability partner you need. You need an accountability partner that says, if you're not at VP yet, what are you doing differently to get there? If you're not there yet, what are you willing to change to get there? Okay, those are the accountability partners that you need. Those are the people that you need. You do not need people that are just going to validate everything you say. Have y'all ever heard the statement that misery loves company? Okay, that is what happens sometimes in business too. And so I just wanted you to be mindful of that. Probably none of you have experienced it yet, But as I talk about finding accountability partners, I think it would be very irresponsible to not mention that sometimes it can go the wrong way. And so you have to be very mindful in saying, hey, I want to get to where I'm going. I want to find somebody like-minded that is also wanting to get there. And all we're going to do is help raise each other up. That doesn't mean everything's going to be positive. But when there is a negative, because Amelia and I, we've talked about some negative things that have happened in our life, in our business. Sometimes we get rejected over and over and over. And it's like, hey, I've had 72 no's today. How are you? I've had 72 crickets today. It's great, and it's like, those aren't great things. We're not delusional to say toxic positivity. Isn't it amazing that we have so many people that never reply to us, Amelia? Isn't it amazing that people tell us no all the time? This is great. No, I'm not talking toxic positivity. I'm saying we've had crickets. Yes. It sucks. Yes. People told us no. Yes, that sucks. For anybody, that's not going to be positive. Okay. However, what are we going to do next? That's the accountability partners you need. What can we do next? Because yes, that's not fun, but we've got to do things that are going to help increase the people we're talking to, increase the yeses. What can we do? What can we change? And what can we do next? So that's one of the things that I would say is accountability partners can really help you grow. So if you don't have that, look at that. And again, it's not a venting partner. It's not a validation partner. It's an accountability. What are some ways that we can work together to help elevate each other and keep each other moving forward? Okay, so I think that's one thing. And then two, no one can give you your own goals. We can't dream it up for you. If you're sitting there and you're like, yeah, I've not even hit director yet and I don't really care, there's really nothing that any of us could say to you to change it. If you do not want it, you're never going to get it. Period. But if you know there's a stirring in your soul and you feel so strongly and deeply like, hey, I want to level up. I want to change my family's life. This is a deep burning desire for me. Then you need to get it on paper. What are those goals and what does it look like? Because you are 40% more likely to achieve a goal that you put down on paper. Period. So if you're not willing to even write down a goal, then are you willing to do anything to achieve it? I mean, writing it down is literally the easiest thing. And I've just told you 40% more likely to achieve it. So if you get off this call and tonight or tomorrow you don't go write down some goals, I would be very, very hesitant to say that you even want to try to achieve them. Because I'm telling you a fact, a statistic. This is not something I just made up. This is a Harvard study that says if you don't write your goals down, you are way less likely to achieve them. Okay? So writing down goals is a big part. Something that can make it even more likely to happen is to display it. Okay? Because sometimes we have a goal in mind and we forget about them. I'll tell you a story. This is something I used to do with our organization, and I'll probably go ahead and do it this year. For myself, you can do it or not. It's great, but it's called a 300 list. And this is something, it's from a little clip Steve Harvey did years ago. And he talks about scripture and how it says in scripture, write it down, make it plain. And he said, I want you to write 300 list. Amelia says she wrote one years ago. Okay, mine's stored in the notes in my phone. I kid you not, guys. If you write a 300 list, let me just first say you'll never make it to 300. I dare say none of you would ever make it to 300. Amelia said never get 300. You start out strong and you write 300 things that you would like to see happen in your life, or things you would like to do in your life, or things you would like to give in your life, or places you would like to visit. I mean, you think like 300 is probably gonna be pretty easy. It is absolutely not easy. Like I couldn't do it. You start out strong and you think, gosh, well, that's easy. Blah, 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 blah. You're around 70, 80, you tap out and you're like, there's nothing else in the world I would want. Nothing else. That's it. Okay. Very normal. But I kept building on mine for over a year. So I got to like 150. That's pretty impressive. I'm just saying, you guys are probably not going to get there. I kept working at it. And then I wrote it down. I thought of it. I wrote it down, but it's in my notes section. I never revisited it. Okay. It's not like I sat there and read it every day like he tells you to do. That's what he tells you to do. Didn't do that. Okay. I found that note years later after I had joined Bravenly. And I cannot tell you how many things on that list I've actually achieved. It is wild. I'm like, I didn't even remember that. I didn't even remember that. I literally put on there that I wanted 2 rental properties. I didn't even remember putting it because why? When you're making that list, you just start pulling stuff out of the air. You're like, I don't care. I want red hair. Sure, that sounds good. Anything I can think of, I'm going to put it down. Okay. I just started putting random stuff. Okay. Because 300 is hard. I'm telling you. And I didn't even remember some of the stuff. Why? Because I didn't put it out for me to see regularly. Okay. But here's what happened, anyways. I achieved a lot of those things that I didn't even think about anymore. And it is wild. So, Amelia, I encourage you to go look back at your list. If you guys want to try a 300 list, message me afterward and tell me how many you got to. Work on it for a few days and then text me or message me on Facebook and say, I got to number what? Because I'd love to hear. You're not going to get that far. If you get that far, I'm going to be wildly impressed. But the big part of creating goals is making them visible so that you can remember, even remember what you're going for. Okay? I didn't even remember a lot of those goals that I had because I didn't have it anywhere that was readily in front of me. So I encourage you to write down some goals, put it up so you can see it. If you've got an office where you normally do Zooms, that's a great place to put it. If you don't, putting it on your refrigerator is great. Putting it on the background of your phone is great. Places that you'll actually see it. Sticky notes, like a few main goals, sticky notes in places like on your mirror where you get ready is great. Because if you actually remember what the goal is and you see it, you're more likely to take action to achieve it. Period, point blank. So setting intentions. On the vision call, you're going to hear a lot about the vision of the company. Okay, you're going to hear a lot about training and how to achieve goals. But like I said, no one's going to give you your goals on that call. So going into that with some clarity and what you want to achieve is what I would encourage you to do. And if you're new, you may say, okay, well, that sounds great. Like, I'm going to put down that I want to make enough money to cover my product. You're not dreaming big enough. Okay. And I totally get that too, because even though I started this industry, and like I said, I came in like a little bit of like a wrecking ball and things went quickly for me. I never in a million years dreamt it would change my life. I never in a million years thought a yes would change my life. I came in with a goal of $200 a month. I didn't even know that was a small goal. I thought that's pretty lofty for someone like me who won't talk to people in public, even if I know them. Probably not going to achieve $200 a month, but that's a pretty big goal, okay? I did not know that there are people in this industry that I could rub elbows with at conference that are making $200,000 a month in our company. Imagine. And Bravenly, already, we're only 5 years in, and we got people making $200,000 a month. Okay, my goal was 200, and I thought that's quite lofty. Okay, so I'm telling you this because this industry changed my life completely. I didn't come in with big goals, but very quickly, a mentor told me, you can do more than that. And had he not said that to me, I don't know where I would be today. He said, what do you want to achieve? And I said, I don't know, 200. He said, you probably already made 200. What would you like to achieve? I said, I'm making about 2,000 as a teacher. He said, okay, 2,000, start there. And I said, start there? Goodness, I went to college for 5 years to start there. I don't think that that's really reasonable. And he said, you'll start at 2,000. You will start making $8,000 a month and very quickly start making 20,000 a month. And I said, no way, not someone like me, not possible. And he said, watch. And that's exactly what happened to me in 6 months. I was making 20 grand a month, 36,000 as a teacher. And I thought, well, that's a whole year's work. This is 1 month's work. I think that I'm going to go ahead and quit. And I ended up resigning and was able to walk my son into school on the first day of kindergarten instead of everybody else's kids when school started. I was able to be there for a milestone that I could not replace with any amount of money. But it took someone casting vision and saying, this is what's possible in this industry. And I was like, great, for them, that's great, for them, not me. And he said, yes, you, why not you? Why not you? There are people just like you achieving it. And I realized going to conference, I didn't realize it until I went to conference, But thankfully, I started the end of February, February 26th, and there was a conference in April. So lucky for me, there was a conference within 2 months. And I went even though I didn't want to go. I had no interest. I don't really like talking to people in person. Didn't know anybody, had to work. Obviously, that Friday had to do standardized testing. If y'all know what that is, as a teacher, you really can't not go. Had to do that, then fly to this event. Didn't really want to spend the money to go. Thought this is so goofy. Why would I go? And there is where I realized that normal people make this a career. I didn't know that anybody made this a career. I thought it was just like a fun thing you do on the side to make a little extra money. And then when people stop buying, you quit. Like that's what I thought. And I'm like, these people are career network marketers. What if I could do that too? What if I could do that too? If I could make some of the money they're making, I would quit teaching. And that is what I did 3 months later. That is what I did. So I just tell you this to understand that there is more available for you. And some of you are like, yeah, I've been to a conference, I've been to an event, I've rubbed elbows with people who make crazy money, but it hasn't happened for me. And I would say it hasn't happened for you yet. That doesn't mean it hasn't happened for you ever. That's quite different. 2026 can look absolutely different for you, but you need to get some goals on paper. You need to set those goals, you need to make them visible, and you need to take the action to achieve them. That's the hard part, okay? Garrett, our mentor, always says 100%, let's listen to this, 100% of the people who won't take the first step never take the second step, right? It makes sense. And a lot of you will not go write your goals down after this. Then I would not be shocked when we do the January call in 2027 if you're like, I didn't achieve my goals. Well, did you even take the first step? Did you write them down? Did you literally take some time, some moments of peace and quiet and say, what do I really want to achieve? I'm not going to say I want vice president just because it sounds cool. What do I really want? Like, what would change my life? What's that number? And then what's that rank that would match that? How many people do I really want to impact? How much money do I really want to give to my church every month? What do I really want to achieve? And then have that goal as part of it. And why do you want to do that? Not just what, but why? Why does that even matter to you? Because if you have that what and that why, the how becomes a whole lot easier. Okay? And I know there's a lot of trainers out there that say this, and I truly believe in this too, as a lot of times if you get really clear on what you want and why you want it, God helps you with the how. None of us are good enough on our own, wise enough on our own, strong enough on our own, talented enough on our own. God will come alongside you and put people in your path that you need to change their life. I strongly believe that. But if he doesn't even know you actually have a goal in mind or you have a why you're doing it in mind, I don't know that he's super active in like, let's make her a VP. She said she wanted VP. Why does that even matter? What does that even mean to you? And why would you even want that? So get crystal clear, find an accountability partner that you can run with and lift each other up and hold each other accountable. Okay? Figure out your goals, make them visible, go into that vision call with clarity in what you want to achieve and why you want to achieve it. And so everything that they say helps fuel the fire of how am I going to do this? That message on that call might be exactly what you need to know of, all right, this is how it's going to happen for me this year. Didn't happen for me last year, but here's how it's going to happen for me this year in 2026. All right, I'm going to pass it back to you, Amelia. Thank you for having me on here.
Thank you so much for everything you said.
Yes,
You
thank you.
crushed it. I told Billy, I was like, she is on her soapbox tonight. I love it. I love it. So one thing I want to say real quick about an accountability partner, Brittany is right. She is one of my accountability partners, but we also have a sideline. Well, she's my sideline, Jania. Um, I'm not even going to try to pronounce her last name, but she's from Wisconsin. And she's amazing. And she is what I call the extrovert to our introvert. She's very extroverted, very outgoing, very like, She goes live every single day. We actually had a conversation yesterday about engagement posts. So like accountability is not only for helping lift each other up but it's also about bouncing ideas off of each other. Like what's working for you? What's working? This isn't working for me. What's working for you? So I encourage you guys, like y'all know we have the team chat, go in there, find someone that is, working towards maybe the same goal. Be Brave Society also has, if you have someone sidelined to you on there, find someone there. Y'all, there's tons of people out there, tons of people out there. I know Jenny and I are working towards the same goal. So you want to try to find that you're working towards the same goal, whether that be a rank, an income, whatever that is. I will say Jenny has definitely pushed me out of my comfort zone over the last 6, 7 months in my messaging. She's like, all right, let's go. We're going to message 50 people. And I'm like, okay, yep, let's do it. So I will say that you need someone encouraging you. You need someone pushing you and helping you with that. And those accountability partners can be like almost like a lifeline in your business. And so I really encourage you to find someone. And we can talk more about that later, but thank you guys for tuning in here. We've been on here for 30 minutes almost. So, if you cannot make it to a satellite event on Saturday, we will be putting the Zoom link up. They did say today that if you have access to Facebook, like the Facebook Live, to tune in on Facebook and reserve the Zoom room for people that are calling in and don't have Facebook. Like we have a huge Amish community that they don't have Facebook, so they have to call in. So anyway, we'll be talking more about that as we get towards the end of the week. But yeah, does anyone have anything else? I think that's it. All right, you guys, let's go set some goals.
Yep. Write them down.
Yep, write them down.
Thank you, Brittany.
Yes, thank you, Britt. Bye, y'all.